Hello, welcome to Cookstars. I'm Annette and I run Cookstars in Cardiff North and West. And today we're going to do some storytelling of the three little pigs through cooking. We're going to make some shortbread biscuits and cut them out using the characters from the story tale. So to start with, we need to do some preparation. So I've put the oven on gas mark 4 or 180 degrees. If you've got a fan oven, it's probably 160. I've also got a baking tray ready with a piece of greaseproof paper on it. Now, if you don't have greaseproof paper, don't worry, just grease the tray with some butter or some oil so the biscuits don't stick. Then you need to have a rummage to see if you've got any cutters. So when I had a look, I've got a pig, so I'm going to be cutting out a few pigs. I've got a house, which is a Halloween house, but it could still be the house which the pigs built. I've got a wolf cutter or a sort of a dog cutter. I've got some numbers, 1, 2, 3, etc. And I'm going to be using some number cutters to cut out some shortbread in them so that we can do some counting and particularly for little ones. And then I've got some letter cutters which spell out pigs, so we can do some spelling as well. And so I've got P, I, G and an S. If you don't have any cutters, don't worry, you can get a piece of paper, get a pen or pencil, draw the shape and cut out the shape out of paper or card, and then you can rest that onto the dough and cut around it when you come to make them. So that's something which the children can be doing. They can draw, they can trace, they can print out pictures, whatever you've got to hand. Okay, so the first step in making shortbread is to do your measuring and weighing. Now, I like to include the children in this step because even though they might not be able to read off the right number, they can help by learning, putting spoonfuls in. So make sure your scales are always set to 0. Make sure you've got nice clean hands and that the children are ready to go. So I am going to use 3 ingredients. I've got sugar, caster sugar. You can use granulated sugar though. I've got some butter or margarine, and just try to avoid a low fat one because they don't tend to work as well in cooking. And I've got some plain flour. So I've got 40 grams of caster sugar, 80 grams of butter, so I've got double the amount, and then I've got 120 grams of plain flour. So we'll start with the flour, which I'm going to put into my mixing bowl. So that's 120 grams of flour. I'm then going to add my 80 grams of butter or margarine. And this isn't straight out of the fridge, the butter or margarine, because we want it to be at room temperature, ideally. Okay, we're going to use our fingers to make shortbread. And we're going to use our fingertips, not the inside of our hands, but the fingertips. And we're going to gather some flour over the butter, and then we're going to rub the butter through our fingers and through the flour. And so we pick a piece up, we rub it and we drop it. Okay, we pick a piece up, we rub and we drop. And we're going to do this until you can't see the butter anymore. Children might find it easier to do this if they are stood up. It's easier to get perhaps into the bottom of the bowl. And as I'm picking some up, I'm actually sort of turning the bowl around so that I'm getting right through to the bottom, so I haven't got any flour which I haven't missed. So we're going to rub this in until it starts to go a bit like breadcrumbs. You can't see any lumps of butter or white flour, and it's going to be a little bit starting to form clumps. Okay, so this is like mine now. Okay, and when it gets like that, we're going to put the sugar in. So I'm going to put my 40 grams of sugar in, and I'm going to mix the sugar around with my fingers. Okay, and the children, you know, will love the feel of the food. It's lovely to cook and feel the food and smell the food. Right, now you can just have plain shortbread. I've got some vanilla essence, which gives a lovely vanilla flavouring, and I'm going to put in a capful. Okay, so I'm just going to measure a capful and tip it in. And if you have a smell, oh, it does smell good. It's lovely. And so we're going to put the vanilla in, and now I'm just starting to use my whole hand to make it stick together, and it will come together in a ball of dough. Okay, and I'm just using my whole hand to make it stick together, and then you'll be able to get a lump of dough and your bowl is clean. Okay, now we're going to be rolling out. So I've got a little bit of flour on my work surface, and I'm just going to roll my ball of dough around in the flour just to take off any excess stickiness. Then I'm going to put a little bit of flour again. I'm going to get my rolling pin, sprinkle some flour on, and I'm going to roll it out. Now, I'm going to put my rolling pin on, and then I'm going one forward, one back, and then I'm turning it around, and 1, 2, and I'm turning it around so it doesn't stick, and 1, 2. The temptation is just to press really heavy and to really press it, and you get one thick bit and one thin bit, and so this way we can try and keep it as even as possible. So I'm rolling it out to about 1 centimetre thick, the thickness of a pound coin, and here we go, and we are making our shortbread, and then we can start to cut out. So I'm going to get my tray to the side of me, and I'm going to cut out 3 pigs, because the story is of the 3 little pigs, and I'm going to put them onto my tray. So I'm starting cutting around the outsides. Okay, and I'm not just cutting one out of the middle yet. I'm just going around the outsides of my pastry, of my dough. So I've got 3 pigs. Okay, now the 3 pigs have a wolf who wants to blow their house down. So I'm going to cut out a wolf and put him onto my tray. Okay, so I've got a wolf. Now the pigs build houses, so I'm going to cut out their house. Okay, and so I've got 3 pigs who built a house which the wolf tried to blow down. Right, so I'm going to cut out then some numbers, because I said that I like doing some simple maths in numbers, and I'm just going to cut out a 1 and a 2, and I'm going to cut out a 3 as well. If I can just get that out, there we go, a 2 and a 3. But to get my 3, I'm going to need to put all the pieces back together, make it into a round ball, maybe a little bit of flour and on my rolling pin so it doesn't stick. And then we can 1, 2, turn it around, 1, 2, turn our pastry around. And then I can cut out my number 3. So I will be able to then do some number counting. I'm also going to cut out with some letters, and I've got a P for pig, which I am going to just push through out of the cutter with a knife. I'm going to cut my I and pop that on the tray. Now, good thing with cutting out letters is that you could cut out your child's name in letters, particularly if they've got to learn how to spell. If they don't know how to spell their name yet, then it's good fun making it in Biscuits, and then you can get them to practice looking at the letters and seeing how to spell, and nothing better than being able to eat it afterwards. Right, so I've cut out pigs in letters. I've cut out 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 pigs. I've got my house, and I've got a wolf. But the wolf blew down 2 of the houses. And what were they made out of? Well, one of them was made out of straw, and one of them was made out of wood, and one of them was made out of bricks. What you can do, you can obviously cut out whatever shapes you like, but I'm going to make some bricks. So I'm just squaring off my pastry so that it's got a neat edge to it, and then I'm going to make some bricks. So I've cut a long rectangle so you can, or an oblong, so you can teach some shapes, and then I'm going to make some bricks. So I've just got small rectangles, because what you can do with the biscuits is that the children can actually build the house of bricks, build the house of straw. So straw and wood are obviously thinner, and we can have wood, strips of wood here, and so on. And you can put those onto your tray. Now these are going to cook on gas 4, 180 degrees for about 10-15 minutes. Now I'm going to, before I put them into the oven, I've got a few chocolate chips, because I like my pigs to have eyes. So I'm just going to pop a chocolate chip into mine to make the pig's eyes. And because it's a side view of the pig, we've just got the one. I'm then going to use a few chocolate drops, and I'm going to make the door of the house. And I'm just going to put 3 up, going to make a small rectangle, and I'm going to put some across and then down again. And I'm just going to make the door of the house through which the wolf tried to get. And they're going into the oven. Now, when they go into the oven, as I say, they take about 10 to 15 minutes. But if you've cooked pieces of wood or bits of brick, they are much smaller and will take less time. So just keep an eye on them. You may need to take those off the tray before you actually get the bigger shapes out. And how you'll know if they'll be done, they'll be golden brown in colour, and they'll still be soft, because biscuits only go crisp when they cool down. Okay, so I hope you enjoy telling stories with your shortbread biscuits, and then of course you can eat them. So what better to tell a story and then enjoy them. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I'm going to say goodbye now. See you next time. Bye.